Hi everyone, I am outside in August at 3 in the afternoon in Pennsylvania, and it is 75 degrees and overcast now, but the sun keeps coming in and out, so I'm sure I'll get brighter and dimmer as this video goes on. But I just feel so blessed because one of the heartbreaks of this summer for me was that I was not able to make it to Maine. Every summer, except for several years where I had cancer and a couple of years where my twins were very, very little. I think the first summer we went up was when they were 2. So when they were 0 and 1, we didn't go to Maine. And then when I was very sick after the 2020 overdose, I didn't go 2020 and I think 2021. And now I didn't go in 2025 because unfortunately, and I was worried about this. It's so funny because I knew I had to get up there early if I was going to get up there. My gut told me that. And when I found out, so I kept like pushing and to find out when I could get up there. And then when I found out other people were going to be up there and it wasn't going to be available to me until later in the summer, which normally would not be any issue. But as soon as I knew that, it was funny. I just knew in my gut. I'm like, it's not really, I'm not going to be able to make it up there this summer. There's going to be something. And who knows, maybe it's weird. It's like people say, oh, well, if you think stuff, then you bring that to your reality. Or did I know that because, sometimes I know stuff that's, I just sense stuff. And a lot of times it doesn't have to do with me. So I don't think I'm necessarily bringing stuff in. But that's an interesting thing to think about, how much is brought in that you think is going to happen in the future, and how much is it, either like a precognitive thing from other senses, other than our 5 senses, or, listen to this, we don't understand and we don't know everything that our brain does. And as a hypnotherapist, I learned about all of the unconscious and subconscious processing that goes on in the brain that we're unaware of, that causes us to see things a certain way, react a certain way, and we don't even realize that. So I could have actually just gotten that feeling based on patterns that happened in the past where my trip was postponed and then I wasn't able to go. Do you know what I'm saying? So my brain made that connection based on past events that happened to me. And even though I didn't consciously make that connection, my brain made that connection for me. So it's just something interesting I've been thinking about. And I'd be curious to hear about how people think about those kind of things. Like when you get that gut feeling or you feel like something's going to happen, is that your pattern recognition in your brain? Is that information coming from others? Is that information coming from your higher self? Is that none of that, and because you start thinking that, you call it in, right? Anyway, I've gone off on a little bit of a tangent, but just gives you something to think about because I think about things like that when these things happen. So what I want to do is I'm outside, it's nice out. Yesterday, I felt well enough to repot my plants with Mark's help. After work, he went to Lowe's and got me soil, and I will show you what I repotted. And I have to think about how I'm going to keep these going through the winter before we move them into our basement where I have grow lights. But at least on one occasion, we got bugs pretty bad. I mean, not horrible bugs, but it was annoying. And I had to get a bug zapper to get rid of them. It wasn't a terrible infestation. It was like fruit flies kind of thing. But we definitely don't want that to happen again. And I need to keep things really easy and simple for me to do because I don't have a lot of energy each day. Like today, for example, we had to get up early and take both animals to the vet. So I wore a mask and I just like helped as much as I could, and we took the animals to the vet. And then I got back in time for Terry's show, which I love, my morning meditation with my friends. I can't speak highly enough of that. Terry at Holding Your Space. And I went and I was in her meditation and I fell asleep and I slept until 1 p.m. So that gives you an idea. And I had slept pretty well the night before, you know, not awful, not great, but not awful. But that gives you an idea of, you know, I only have like half the number of hours of a regular person to do stuff. And then in those half hours, can't do like hard stuff with my body. Or else like even what I did yesterday, I feel good about because my body is in pain in a different way. It's in like physical exertion pain. So, but anyway, I want to show you guys what I repotted yesterday, but I also want to talk to you guys about my medical plan because, to be honest, I've been having some problems, some real communication issues with my doctor's nurse. And I've had these communication issues in the past. I really feel like communication issues are one of the reasons why I got so sick in 2020. No matter how much I said to the doctors my severe symptoms, they didn't believe me. I don't know if they thought that I was being melodramatic or what. So I wasn't communicating. Well, I know doctors sometimes don't listen very well, but I wasn't communicating very well, I think, either. And that will be interesting because I just had an idea come to my mind. My family doctor, who saved my life, thankfully, because he did listen to me, maybe on my next appointment with him, I'll just ask really quickly if he could give me feedback about my communication, because he's always been a great listener, but maybe he can help me figure out how to communicate with other doctors so they will listen to me and other medical professionals. So anyway, I told you about what happened, that I got the 1 dose of Dara, and unfortunately we didn't get the test back in time, so I got a 2nd dose and it made me sick. And I just started feeling better last Saturday. So I had the dose like, I don't know, 10 days ago, I guess, or 12 days ago. And for the first 2 days, I felt okay with the steroids in me, but then I felt really sick for a week. Body burning, and I basically stayed in bed almost the whole time. Last Saturday, I got up and I was able to do things for the first time, and I went and I got this tea from a vendor. We were walking around outside. It says root chakra tea. Let me take a little sip. So anyway, and so I knew that every 2 weeks was too frequent, and I didn't know though, like, do we stop treatment? Because after my 2nd dose, I got so sick, but also we don't know, I still haven't gotten blood tests done. So I got so sick and I emailed my doctor. I'm like, look, I got really sick. Plus we saw that my Kappa light chains were actually within normal range after 1 dose. And that my NK cells and T cells went down to like 1/3 of normal. Shouldn't we retest? And he's like, yes, we should retest. And I said, I don't want to come in 2 weeks. And he said, fine, come in 4. Well, I felt like, shouldn't we test first and see like how I'm doing before we decide like when I should come back in? So I emailed back and I said, I would love to get the test at whenever you want me to get the test. Like if you want me to get the test 3 weeks out so that you have it to look at right before my 4-week dose, then that's what I'll do. But I want to get the test so that I know that the next dose will be safe for me. Well, I'm going round and round with the nurse because I'm asking this and she's saying, well, you have to tell us when you're coming in for a treatment, so then we'll tell you when to run the labs. And I'm like, but don't we decide when I get a treatment based on the labs? So I'm not sure what to do. I've been going round and round in circles with her because I'm not sure why. I'm willing to do the labs whenever they want me to do whenever the doctor decides it's the best time for me to do the labs, I want to do the labs. But I want them done in enough time before they would give me any treatment so that we know that it's safe for me to have that treatment. But it seems like this is not something they're willing to do for me. And I'm unsure why. So I've been emailing her, the nurse and the doctor, and the nurse has been responding, not the doctor. I don't think the doctor is even looking. I don't think the doctor, knowing my medical history, would have a problem with this. I mean, that's why we did the test after the first dose that were supposed to result before the second dose. So I'm not sure how to move forward. I'm thinking of emailing the doctor without the nurse on it. That might be poor form. I'm not sure. I was also thinking of maybe just requesting an appointment with the doctor where I could just talk about this and get it sorted out. That might be the best thing. But they have to like approve you in the system for an appointment because he's the head of the department. So I'll have to work on getting an invitation to an appointment with my doctor. But yeah, so please, I'm feeling better, thankfully. We just have to, according to my doctor, it's important that I don't take too long between doses of this drug. So even though my counts were normal and everything, and then the second dose made me feel so bad, I can't go too far between doses or else my body could build up a resistance to it and then it could stop working for the cancer, which I understand that from antibiotics. You know, that stuff happens with antibiotics. If you stop taking it too soon, you know, the strongest bacteria will live while the strongest cancer will live. But I don't know, like he said, 4, 6, or 8 weeks. How do I make up my mind with any data? I said to the nurse, I'm like, am I supposed to meditate on it and get back to you? I mean, I guess so. But maybe we will, I'll see if there's a way for me to get an appointment with my doctor, talk to him directly, and then maybe he'll understand what I'm saying, and we'll work out something between us that makes sense to both of us. So yeah, I just wanted to say that's where I'm at. I'm waiting to figure out when my next dose of cancer meds will be. But the furthest he wants to go out is 8 weeks from my dose 2 weeks ago. So that would be in 6 weeks. So I'll have another cancer treatment in 2, 4, or 6 weeks, depending on what we decide, and hopefully some data. Now I'm going to take you around. Unfortunately, I can't flip the screen and do all that without doing fancy editing to the video. So I'm going to just try to show you what I did yesterday with the plants to end this video, to show you some nature. Sorry for this boring background. I probably should have had something more beautiful behind me for this video. But let me show you what I repotted yesterday, and then maybe we'll get like a little baby greenhouse or something we can put on the deck, like right next to the back door. That might work. So here, let me show you. So here we are outside. Here, those are the tomato plants that I grew from the tomato branches I broke off by accident. So I have 2 decent sized tomato plants. I'm going to look up how to prune them to try to keep them smaller, but they already have tomatoes on them, a couple little tomatoes. Now here are my basils. I can't see what you're seeing, but I'm hoping you're seeing them. I've got Thai basil, regular basil, and mint. And I know one of my relatives wants some, and I'm going to make sure she gets some too, because she makes a lot of Italian cooking, and I know it'll be nice for her. And then that's the part of the zucchini plant I broke off. I hope you guys are seeing this. Let me see. This is a zucchini plant I broke off, and I got it some roots, and I'm hoping it's going to live. And if that lives, I would put that in a bigger pot and maybe get that in the little greenhouse too. So let me, here I still have sweet potatoes growing. I'll check them out in September. I'll like dig up a little next month and see what's going on with them. They haven't flowered. I'm not sure why. Then this is where the regular potatoes were. We dug them up. There's a branch from the tomato plant that I broke off that I'm seeing will root. Maybe we'll get a third tomato plant. Here is the massive tomato plant. I thinned it out yesterday. So many tomatoes on it, and all around the other side. There's all the basil, sage, and rosemary. Oh my gosh, it was so funny the other day. On this tomato plant was the biggest, greenest spider. It's not spider, caterpillar. And I was right next to the plant, and the caterpillar actually rubbed against my face. I literally jumped a mile and screamed bloody murder. My pepper plant, here's the little banana peppers. The tomatoes going over into the zucchini plant. There's a poblano. And the zucchini, which is actually still growing zucchini. So I just feel so blessed. If anybody knows, oh, this is a long video. If anyone makes it to the end of the video and has an idea about something that we can build that's inexpensive outside, because it will only get down maybe into the 20s here unless we have some weird winter. That will protect the plants, like a little greenhouse or something. Let me know. Anything I can do to keep these plants going, short of bringing them into my basement, which I'll do if I have to, but that might be a little much. And oh yeah, also I wanted to ask, I've always had straight hair, always. When I was little, I had straight hair, straight long hair. I cut it short about a year before my transplant because I knew my transplant was coming, and I wanted to get used to not having long hair because I had long hair my whole life. Well, now since I got the chemo, my hair is very curly, and I don't know what to do with it. I'm trying to grow it in, thinking maybe it'll become less curly or something, but I'm not sure what to do with it. It's just so... It was big before because when I cut it short, it was straight and it would just stick up. It was like my hair was like, since it was weighed down so long, it was like ba-boing, and it would stand up. Now it's just going out big and curly. So anyone like that knows like products for curly hair or what you do with curly hair, please let me know, because now I have curly hair. I love you guys so much. I'm just so happy to be out here on this beautiful day and having a community that I can share these things with, like the conversation issues with my doctor. And I know that I will get feedback that will be helpful from you guys, because that's who you are. I love you all, and sorry for taking 20 minutes of your day. Bye.